Here is your General Hospital sneak peek video for Thursday, July 3rd, 2025. The Metro Court Pool is always a happening place with showdowns, calamities, and even drunk Tracy a few years ago. Tracy is spending a lot of time at the pool this year, as is her great-grandson Gio. Knowing that Gio must be on lifeguard duty, Tracy tracks him down. She is determined to warn him what a danger Sonny is. Tracy knows Gio feels some sort of affection towards Sonny, but after what happened at Charlie's and what is happening to Deception, Tracy is determined to keep Gio far from Sonny and causes a scene at the pool to get her point across. Willow is also at the pool, so she can conveniently run into Wiley and see her son. While Wiley is thrilled to see her, Michael is decidedly not. In fact, he asks her not to make this any more difficult for Wiley than it has to be. Will Michael give Willow another warning about marrying Drew? Which will only make Willow more defiant because nobody can knock her precious Drew in her presence? When Emma runs into Danny and Rocco, she can tell they are discussing something important. Do they tell her what they found in Brooklyn's files? She does tell them that they owe it to themselves to find out the truth. Rocco's mom, Lulu, visits with Laura and offers some advice to her mother. But will she take it? Sonny sits with Ada Turner in the PCPD interrogation room, but he is not about to tell her everything she wants to know. At least Jason seems to be holding down the mobster fort until Dante stops by. He also has questions about what happened to Natalia and asks Jason if he'd find anyone buried in the backyard. Perhaps he is just joking and only wants to know where Danny and Rocco are. Either way, Jason remains stone cold and stoic as always. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Messy Syrup. It's me, Abby, here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching. So let's dive into today's video. It's been a while since Blaze left General Hospital to go on tour with Miguel Morez. She had difficulty dealing with her mother, Natalia, who frowned upon her same-sex relationship with Christina. Sadly, Natalia recently died from an overdose of tranquilizers and alcohol, and while it was truly an accident, it looks like Sonny might be blamed for it. With all the turmoil going on as a result, and with Marco left wondering what happened, it's high time Blaze returned to mourn with him. In August 2024, Lopez shared a heartfelt goodbye to General Hospital, its cast, crew, and fans on Instagram. "Not gonna lie, this goodbye hurts," she wrote, adding, "I think because I didn't see it coming. That and when you spend almost 2 years with this group, you start to feel like part of the fabric." The fans were collectively sad at her departure and wished her well for the future. Some hoped GH would one day ask her back, and if there was a perfect time for that, it would be now. We only got dribs and drabs about Blaze's family life when she was on the show, and now that we know she and Marco are siblings, we could learn a lot more about their family. Christina's going to need Blaze as well because her life is in a bit of turmoil. Not only did she cut the brakes on what she thought was Ava's car, it was Rick's, and he and Elizabeth almost died as a result. But Marco recently rescued her when Charlie's pub was firebombed. That connection right there is a good excuse for Blaze to come back as well, so she can check in on the two. Blaze served as a counterbalance to Christina's Spitfire personality, and the fans liked them as a romantic couple. Natalia was involved in Deception Cosmetics, and now that Blaze is a worldwide superstar, her celebrity status could help the company. It might be headed for trouble since it was learned that, due to a clerical error, it may have been partially funded by Sonny's ill-gotten gains. In May, LaRue shared a photo of her, Lopez, and Anchondo on Instagram and wrote, "Save the drama for your mama." This was a sneak peek look at the fact that Natalia was Marco's mother, and fans were over the moon thinking that Lopez would be bringing Blaze back to Port Charles as well. Unfortunately, that never happened. But now is a great opportunity for General Hospital to tap into her vociferous fan base. General Hospital spoilers reveal that Michael Corinthos' Painkiller addiction story could be coming up. Will Willow Tate and Drew Kane have a new angle to work as they go after custody of the kids? In GH's July 1st episode, Michael admitted he could use a drink, but he changed his mind when he realized he'd taken a pain pill that morning. Since Michael had a big day ahead with the christening, He took one since he didn't want anything interfering with the celebration. Sasha Gilmore Corbin was surprised to learn Michael was still struggling since she assumed he was completely healed. That led to Michael confessing he has some residual nerve damage, but the doctors are hopeful that he'll be pain-free soon. But they're not sure? Could you be struggling with this pain for a long time? A concerned Sasha asked. Michael then pivoted to talking about how it was nothing compared to the pain he faced right after the fire. However, it's troubling that Michael has been quietly suffering, especially since Sasha's hint suggests it might continue for a while. Could all this add up to a painkiller addiction story for Michael? This might bring a major challenge for Michael, along with a new weakness for Willow and Drew to exploit in court. Now that Michael has Wiley Corinthos and Amelia Corinthos full-time, he'll obviously be busy in dad mode. Michael also wants to be in Daisy Gilmore's life as much as Sasha will let him, so he'll have a lot on his plate. Could Michael start relying on these painkillers more and more? If this does turn into an addiction storyline, you can bet Drew and Willow will jump at the chance to use it against Michael. Of course, there's another option to consider if Michael ultimately loses custody when Judge Eva Heron bribery comes to light. That crushing blow could play a role in Michael turning to pills more often and put him on an addiction road after the custody loss instead. Whatever the case, General Hospital spoilers say Michael has some drama ahead of him, so stay tuned for updates on any bad news that's brewing. General Hospital recap for Wednesday, July 2nd, reveals that Selena Wu was warned to leave Port Charles after Jen Sidwell's frame-up while Sonny Corinthos settled on an eye-for-an-eye punishment during a strategy session with Jason Morgan. At Windermere, Sidwell summoned Selena and warned Sid she was about to go to war with Sonny. The firebombing at Charlie's pub could be traced to Selena's associates, so Selena realized she'd been set up. Selena argued she could just tell Sonny about Sidwell's scheme, but he suspected Sonny would kill her before she even had the chance. Besides, Sidwell implied that Sonny would ultimately find even more evidence against her. Sidwell pushed Selena to leave town and assured her that she could return to a better PC once Sonny was dealt with permanently. At GH, Alexis Davis was flustered over Christina Corinthos Davis' ordeal and struggled to fill out her paperwork, but she was pleased to see Molly Lansing Davis bonding with her sister in her hospital bed. Meanwhile, Marco Rios cried by Natalia Ramirez's body before joining Lucas Jones, Anna Devane, and Harrison Chase. That led to some talk about Natalia's apparent overdose, along with Marco's question about whether it was accidental or intentional. Marco found out about Natalia seeking Sonny out at the christening and ultimately accused Sonny of murder. Although Marco didn't have proof, he thought it was obvious. Lucas stopped Marco from spilling that he knew about Natalia's plan to flee the country, so Marco thanked him privately. After Sonny's henchman was caught on the security camera outside Natalia's hotel suite, Anna hinted about it not being good news for Sonny. At Sonny's house, he talked to Jason about how he planned to respond to the attack on Charlie's pub. Sonny assumed Sidwell was responsible and said he wanted an eye for an eye. Since Sonny felt his daughter was targeted, he suggested Sidwell's son deserved the same. Jason pointed out that Marco just saved Christina, but Sonny was fine with Marco becoming collateral damage. Afterward, Anna showed up with updates on Natalia's demise and took Sonny in for questioning since he was now a person of interest. While Marco was getting examined at the hospital, Lucas called Sidwell to let him know about Natalia's demise. Sidwell came running to comfort Marco and reeled when he learned Marco put his own life at risk by running into the pub blaze. Marco pointed out that he saved Sonny's daughter while Sonny was to blame for him losing his mother. That left Sidwell wondering how Sonny connected to Natalia's grim fate. At the Quartermaine mansion, Brooke Lynn Quartermaine filled Tracy Quartermaine in about Sonny's dirty deception investment, so Tracy wanted to hand evidence over to the cops. Once Chase arrived, he spilled about Christina's fire situation and Natalia being deceased. Tracy was determined to keep Giovanni Gio Palmieri away from Sonny since it wasn't safe to be around him. At a cafe, Emma Scorpio Drake had Outback the dog with her as she pushed Gio to hold off on his decision to drop out of PCU. Gio's heart wasn't in music anymore, but she thought he might feel differently by September, or could at least find a new passion. Emma eventually mentioned Professor Henry Hank Dalton's lab and how they might have to resort to drastic measures to get inside, so Gio guessed she meant doing something illegal. Back with Lucas, he quizzed Elizabeth Baldwin about Natalia's overdose and worried a mob war was brewing. It would put Lucas' family on one side and Marco's family on the other. Outside Charlie's pub, Jocelyn Jacks went on a Sonny-related tirade and admitted to Vaughn that he was part of the reason she took this job. Vaughn realized Jocelyn wanted to climb up the WSB ladder and take Sonny down, so he thought that was a worthy goal. As for Vaughn's own goal in joining the WSB, he suggested he might tell Jocelyn once they got to know each other better. Vaughn suddenly pulled Jocelyn into a makeout session with no one else around, so it wasn't just for show anymore. General Hospital spoilers say Jocelyn and Vaughn's relationship could get messy in the coming weeks, so stay tuned. General Hospital spoilers for Monday, July 7th reveal that Rocco Falconeri will lose it on Lulu Spencer over the Brit Westbourne surrogacy that she hid from him. Carly Spencer will also tell Giovanni Gio Palmieri the harsh truth. So let's talk about what's in store. GH will show a repeat on Friday, July 4th, but viewers won't have to wait long for the action to pick back up in Port Charles. The show will return with an all-new episode on Monday, July 7th, starting with Rocco's unleashed fury. At home, Rocco just confronted Lulu and pushed her to tell him about Britt. Now that Rocco has seen the research Brooklyn Quartermain was doing, he'll expect Lulu to give him some answers. "You didn't give birth to me." "She did?" Rocco angrily asks Lulu on Monday's GH preview video. Lulu will explain the complicated story of the stolen embryo and how she didn't know Ben Westbourne was her son until later. Although Lulu won't think this changes anything, Rocco will fume over being kept in the dark on all the Brit news. As for Brooklyn, she'll talk to Cody Bell about dropping her feud with Lulu. Brooklyn will suggest one of them had to be the bigger person and may argue that she just wants to move on. Of course, Brooklyn won't realize Rocco is already ripping into Lulu after finding the file she had on him. Lulu is sure to be livid when she realizes Brooklyn is the reason Rocco found out the Brit truth. Next, Jocelyn Jacks will tell Vaughn that this isn't working and declare that they're done. It looks like Jocelyn will stage a public breakup, but she may grow even closer to Vaughn behind closed doors. Carly might witness Jocelyn's declaration and quiz her daughter about it at some point. Monday's episode will also bring Carly's conversation with Gio and her admission about the complexity of having Sonny in her life. Carly will confess that she'd be lying if she said there wasn't another side, presumably to Sonny. Although Sonny is loving and fiercely protective of his family, Carly may acknowledge that there are some tough realities that come with a mob boss connection. Sonny's loved ones can sometimes get hurt because of their link to him, so Carly may admit Tracy Quartermain's fears aren't unwarranted. As for Anna Devane, she'll put Gen Z Sidwell through a grilling session. However, Sidwell will stonewall Anna and contend that if she's looking for answers, then she should look to Sonny instead. Finally, Sonny will tell Laura Collins that there may be a way to contain the damage of the mob feud that's erupting, but she may have her doubts about his strategy. General Hospital spoilers say Sonny and Sidwell's conflict is far from over, so stick with us for updates on all the twists and turns ahead. Viewers got a bit of a surprise when they tuned in to the July 3 episode of General Hospital. No, the show didn't rewrite history so that Sasha and Cody could reunite, despite that being one of its biggest recent mistakes. Instead, they were greeted by a new Maxie who, despite not being Kirsten Storms, seemed oddly familiar. That's because Nicole Paggi, who is currently playing the role of Maxie, has stepped in for Storms in the past. Because hey, when you play a part for 20 years, things are occasionally going to come up which require you to miss a few days. In this case, TV Insider reports that Storms had a scheduling conflict, which resulted in the show having to call in a replacement. According to TV Insider, Paggi will be seen several times in the coming weeks, because the show tapes multiple episodes in a single day, a daunting task if ever there was one. She'll appear on July 30th and August 13th. As for Storms, she'll be stepping back into Fashionista Maxie's pumps the week of August 18th. It's easy to see why some fans might be jarred when a new face steps in as Maxie. Storms has been playing the part since way back in 2005. In fact, she accepted the part shortly after leaving Days of Our Lives, where she'd spent several years as Belle Black. Fun fact, Martha Madison, who currently plays Belle, temporarily played the part of General Hospital's Elizabeth Weber when Rebecca Herbst needed someone to step in as the much-loved nurse back in 2011. So for a brief time, there were two Belles walking the titular facility's hallways. As for Paggy, primetime soap fans might best remember her stint on the series Pasadena, where she played Jenny, BFF to rich girl Lily. While that show never truly caught on, it was written by Mike White, who would go on to create the wildly popular HBO series White Lotus. This fatal end felt like old times. Major character deaths have been an unwelcome trend on General Hospital lately, but the latest casualty may actually be one of its best yet. In the last year, Port Charles lost 5 main players, starting with Gregory. His death was inevitable and hit everyone suddenly when he drifted off to sleep and never woke up. His battle with ALS took his life, and heartbreakingly sent Finn off the wagon along with it. Next was Jagger, who was murdered by Sonny in what was a very quickly wrapped storyline. The character was hardly talked about again after Sonny offed him, and no one seems to care. Next came the devastating losses of Sam and Dex. Sam's death shocked characters and viewers alike, ending Monaco's 20-year run as the character. As for Dex, seeing a beloved character's life cut short is never enjoyable. Finally, Cyrus was killed by Jocelyn after she discovered that he was the Digitalis killer. One swift click of a gun sent Cyrus down the river, and his reign of terror just suddenly vanished. The latest GH death came at exactly the right time to set up a perfectly written storyline. After Natalia's mental break ended in an overdose, her death easily set Sonny up to be the killer that he wasn't this time. Natalia's death, while done before, actually felt fresh after a year of either traumatic or lackluster deaths in Port Charles. Her death wasn't a murder, nor was it expected. Instead, it sets the stage for the mob war of the summer, Sonny versus Sidwell. Got a red-hot theory about your favorite soap storyline? Email news@soaphub.com. Yours could be our next hot topic. General Hospital spoilers and updates tease that Willow Tate and Scout Kane might be in for some quality bonding time, but there's a possibility it could end in disaster. Will Drew Kane's plan backfire royally and lead to a complete catastrophe? What if Scout doesn't like Willow and she becomes resentful? It has come to our attention that Cosette Abinante has recorded additional scenes that will be broadcast soon. Meanwhile, Scout has been conspicuously absent from the ongoing family turmoil, but this is expected to shift shortly. Willow has been in overwhelming distress due to her separation from Wiley Corinthos and Amelia Corinthos. The loss of custody has profoundly affected Willow, leaving her shaken beyond belief. Drew is determined to do everything possible to assist Willow in reuniting with her children, leading to plans for a wedding to present themselves as a united front in court. Nonetheless, Drew may come up with a short-term plan during this time. Since Willow will soon become Scout's stepmother, Drew may believe they should have more opportunities to bond. Drew might think that allowing Willow to feel like a mother figure again could help alleviate the pain in her heart. Given that Scout has been having a tough time without Sam McCall, enhancing her relationship with Willow could be beneficial for both of them in Drew's perspective. However, it's important to note that such a suggestion could lead to disastrous outcomes. Willow isn't in the best mental state lately, making it hard to predict how she might behave around Scout. And then again, Scout may not accept her. Willow may experience an emotional breakdown if something sets her off, which would allow Scout to observe everything up close. Scout could even see Willow fade out and adopt a different persona, particularly if this involves a storyline centered around dissociative identity disorder. Additionally, there's a chance that Willow might get disoriented and wrongly believe that Scout is Amelia as her mental condition worsens. This scenario could result in Willow running off with Scout, leaving Drew in a panic as he searches for both of them. Or, when Scout realizes that Willow is getting ready to marry her father, she could resent her trying to take the place of Sam. No matter what, Scout could end up freaking out about any situation Willow finds herself in and seek solace from Drew afterward. To put it differently, if any of Cosette Abinante's future scenes feature moments between Scout and Willow, it could signal bad news ahead. Scout could even decide to run away from home, even if it's only as far as the Quartermain mansion or her grandmother Alexis Davis's house. She may even sneak into the Quartermain boathouse, enlisting Danny Morgan's help to keep her hidden from Willow. According to General Hospital spoilers, Drew is set to face more family turmoil, so make sure to stay tuned for updates on any upcoming surprises. General Hospital spoilers leak. Brooke Lynn Quartermain is diving into investigating the murky details of Rocco Falconeri's birth, aiming to weaponize her findings against Lulu Spencer. She is furious over Lulu's accidental revelation at the nurses' ball that Giovanni Gio Palmieri is the son that Brooke Lynn gave up for adoption and never told the father, Dante Falconeri. Now, Brooke Lynn seeks revenge by digging into the embryo theft saga tied to Rocco's origins with Britt Westbourne. If her probe uncovers shocking truths, will Rocco face a similar upheaval as Gio, destabilizing his life and hurting Dante and Lulu by extension? Or can Brooke Lynn's plan be stopped before it backfires? Brooke Lynn's rage, fueled by Lulu's reckless backstage argument with Lois Cerullo that Gio overheard, has driven her to unearth secrets about Rocco's birth, possibly linked to Britt's manipulation of Lulu's embryo years ago. Her investigation aims to expose Lulu's past vulnerabilities, hoping to tarnish her bond with Dante and Rocco. Will we see a confrontation where Brooke Lynn taunts Lulu with hints of her findings? Will her revenge hit its mark? Or will digging into Rocco's origins stir unintended chaos for all involved? If the latter, will she lose everything she holds dear and all hopes of a relationship with Gio in one fell swoop because her ego and the zest for revenge got the best of her? Rocco, already rocked by Lulu's coma, Sam McCall's death last fall, and Gio's arrival as his half-brother, faces new turmoil if Brooke Lynn's probe reveals a paternity twist or other secrets about his birth. The pain of Gio's public parentage blunder could repeat, leaving Rocco questioning his identity, especially after his recent alcohol poisoning scare that was nearly fatal. If Dante learns of Brooke Lynn's scheme, his lingering anger at Lulu might soften, redirecting his ire toward Brooke Lynn. Will Rocco suffer like Gio, or can Dante shield him from the fallout? Brooke Lynn's quest to hurt Lulu risks fracturing her own family, with Ned Quartermain or Tracy Quartermain likely to urge caution should they find out. If her findings destabilize Rocco, it could alienate Gio and strain her marriage to Chase. Is Brooke Lynn's investigation into Rocco's birth story doomed to be a repeat of Gio's painful blunders, hurting Lulu and Dante as intended, or will her revenge spiral out of control, leaving her isolated? General Hospital spoilers reveal a preview clip has been released for Thursday, July 3rd, 2025. It shows that Tracy Quartermain tries to warn Giovanni Gio Palmieri that he's in grave danger. Meanwhile, Dante Falconeri interrogates Jason Morgan. Keep reading, and let's talk about what is coming up in the ABC soap opera. At the Metro Court pool, expect Michael Corinthos to make a disturbing discovery. The preview clip shows that Michael goes up to Willow and urges her to step away from their son. Michael ends up having to quietly urge Willow not to make this any harder than it has to be for wily Corinthos. Willow might insist that they just crossed paths, she was just helping him, or he seemed alone. However, Michael will warn her that she could get arrested, and this is already too hard for Wiley. Remember, Wiley asked about his mom at Daisy Gilmore Corbin's christening. So this is a painful situation for the little boy, and likely Amelia Corinthos as well. Over with Maxie Jones, she likely learns about Sonny Corinthos' shady deals. Of course, Brooke Lynn Quartermain will also inform Maxie about Natalia Ramirez's death. Since Natalia worked for Deception, they will need to get out a press release. Maxie and BLQ worked with Natalia, so this will be a hard situation for everyone to handle. General Hospital spoilers for today's episode reveal that Lulu Spencer talks to Laura Collins. The mayor will be stressed over Sonny and Jen Sidwell's mob war. Fans will also see Dante ask Jason some questions when the detective goes up to Jason and wonders if she should keep looking for the people responsible. Dante asks if he should start looking in the woods. Tracy tries to warn Gio at the Metro Court pool that he's in danger. However, I'm not sure if Gio will listen or take precautions. Fans know that Gio is going through a lot right now and basically wants nothing to do with his family. However, Sidwell has already targeted Christina Corinthos Davis and once again framed someone else for the crime. Which storyline are you looking forward to seeing the most? On Thursday, July 3rd, 2025, share your thoughts in the comment section below. Remember to keep watching the soap on ABC to find out what happens next. Eva LaRue deserved a much better part than Natalia. Fans rejoiced when they heard that Eva LaRue was coming to General Hospital. Now that her run has ended, they are left scratching their heads. What was that? Remember the good old days when soaps ruled ABC daytime? That was when Eva LaRue starred as Maria on All My Children. Neurosurgeon Maria had wonderful storylines, and she and Edmund were an epic couple. LaRue was nominated for an Emmy Award for the role. The actress went on to star in CSI Miami and also had roles in series such as Fuller House and George Lopez. In 2024, it was announced that LaRue would return to daytime as Natalia Ramirez on GH. Fans rejoiced. Her role would certainly be juicy, especially as Blaze's mom. There was so much potential. What happened was the exact opposite. It felt as if they didn't know what to do with Natalia. She came right out of the gate as homophobic, which immediately made her unlikable. She may have eventually had a mother-daughter storyline with her daughter, but then Blaze was gone. Natalia and Sonny were the love story that never was because they never quite became a couple. She turned out to be Sidwell's ex, which could have caused a lot of trouble in Port Charles, but it didn't. At the end, she suddenly had an alcohol problem, which was never mentioned before. Now she is dead. Bryce Durfee, the actor who plays WSB Agent Vaughn on General Hospital, recently revealed how his real-life romance with wife Amber Rude Durfee nearly didn't occur. Talking to Soap Opera Digest, the actor explained how their relationship, now more than a decade old, started as a social media link and an initial refusal due to Durfee's young age and profession. The couple has been married since September 2019. Meanwhile, they've been together for 12 years, according to Durfee, who described their journey in an interview published by Soap Opera Digest on July 2, 2025. Despite the lasting nature of their bond, the relationship had a rocky start. The two first discovered each other through a shared acquaintance, Durfee's friend, who had previously been Amber's roommate in Los Angeles. In the Soap Opera Digest interview, the General Hospital star explained, she had left Los Angeles to go back to her native state. Meanwhile, Durfee had met this mutual friend at a Power Rangers casting call. The two then got close, and on a vacation to Lake Tahoe, they took a picture together that Durfee's friend subsequently shared on Instagram. Amber had viewed the photo and commented, "Oh my God, who is this guy?" Around the same time, Durfee had also complained to the mutual friend about his dating life in Los Angeles. The friend then put two and two together, says Durfee. However, rather than being discouraged, Durfee continued to reach out to Amber on social media and message her until they eventually started a conversation. After 3 months of online communication, the two met in person. Amber was traveling to California with her brother for a snowboarding trip and planned a brief stop in Los Angeles. Durfee also remembered the moment he met Amber's brother during their first in-person encounter. As he prepared to greet Amber, he noticed her brother standing at a distance, watching him closely. Described by Durfee as a tall, muscular, and imposing figure, the brother's presence was initially intimidating. However, the tension quickly faded. Within an hour, Durfee and Amber's brother had bonded and developed a friendly rapport, a turning point that helped solidify the beginning of the couple's lasting relationship. The two became engaged and wed in 2019. They now share their life on social media, such as through a joint TikTok channel and Instagram account. They mostly feature moments from their everyday life, including with their 2 rescue dogs. Apart from his marriage, Bryce's on-screen love life is now a romantic plot with Jocelyn Jacks, played by Eden McCoy. The fictional romance is keeping the viewers hooked to General Hospital's changing arc. Furthermore, the July 2nd episode of the soap opera featured the characters' kiss. Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree or disagree? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more updates. Your opinions matter. And I will see you in the next video. Thank you.